All right, we'll go ahead and get started with today's webinar. I'd first like to start off by just welcoming everyone to our most recent Flash webinar. Today we'll be covering the admin dashboard, subscription management and reports. Really, the goal for today is just to make sure you have all the information that you need to be able to effectively and successfully manage your school or district CodeMonkey subscription. If you have questions during today's webinar, please feel free to enter those in the chat. Maya will be my co-host today, and she'll be answering questions as we go. We'd like to invite you to attend upcoming Flash webinars, as well as to access previous webinars on our webinar page. The URL for that is right up here, and Maya will be entering that into the chat for your convenience as well. We've had previous topics and upcoming topics, which will include an in-depth review of CodeMonkey courses, as well as the pathway to learning, technology courses, including digital literacy and AI. Of course, today's admin dashboard and subscription management webinar, and upcoming webinar for teacher reports and progress monitoring tools. In addition to our Flash webinar series, we also offer helpful resources in our Help Center within the Teacher Resources tab of the application, on our webinar page, and of course through our support chat. We'd also like to invite you to follow us on all of our social media outlets to stay up to date with everything CodeMonkey. You can find us at CodeMonkeySTU. So we'll go ahead and briefly introduce today's team. My name is Angie Lintner. I'm a customer success manager here at CodeMonkey, and I'll be facilitating today's webinar. Maya Meller is the head of customer success. She will be moderating the chat today, as well as dropping helpful resources in there for your convenience. Thanks for joining us, Maya.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So for today's Flash webinar, we'll briefly review what CodeMonkey is. We will take a quick look at the pathway to learning. So as an administrator, if you're not familiar with the content that CodeMonkey teaches, we'll give you a brief understanding of that. We'll review the administrative dashboard and what you as the admin need to do to set your teachers up for access to the resource. And then we will tie everything up with monitoring student progress and usage, looking at how we generate reports and analyze that data. And then we'll tie up again with or conclude with support and help, as well as that Q&A. So what is CodeMonkey? CodeMonkey is a leading coding for kids program. It provides engaging online courses for students to learn how to code. It was made with schools and teachers in mind. It's aligned to CSTA, ISTE, and multiple state standards. It includes curriculum for grades K through 8. No prior coding experience is needed to teach with CodeMonkey, which makes it a great resource for teachers that have no coding background. And although CodeMonkey started as a coding platform, we are now moving more towards being a computer science curriculum, and our platform now includes courses such as digital literacy, AI, data science, and coming in 2025, we're super excited to announce our first high school course, which will be an AP computer science principles course. Again, so to just give you an idea of the course pathway that is recommended for students that will be using CodeMonkey, we like to use this visual. It's a great way of not only seeing what courses would be appropriate for each grade band, but also to see at which points courses teaching different programming languages segue into from one to the other. For example, your grade K through 2 students will be using block-based coding. Block-based coding is the more universal coding language and is a drag and drop type of block code, so very appropriate for this grade band. For grades 3 through 5, we start students in text-based coding, which is the equivalent of JavaScript or CoffeeScript. Those courses are Coding Adventure and Dodo Does Math. Also for grades 3 through 5, we introduced that first guided course, which is digital literacy. That's composed of 3 different courses. We have a digital use, a digital citizenship, and then a digital literacy course, all in that suite. As students pass 5th grade, we move more into that advanced coding and creation with the game builder. Here students will start to begin creating their own games. And then they move into those more advanced guided courses such as data science and AI. And moving into middle school, high school, we're looking at Banana Tails and coding chatbots, which teaches students how to program with Python. So now I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into the demo of your admin dashboard. And we'll take a quick look at what information you have available on the dashboard and then how you provide access to your teachers and students, as well as manage the subscription throughout the year. Your admin dashboard is on the top left tab of your screen. Once that's highlighted, you'll see the dashboard itself. It provides quite a bit of information at a glance, including the number of schools, classrooms, students, and teachers that have access to the platform. In addition, we give you student usage snapshots. You can find the number of active students either by week or by month. Total on-site minutes for students, also by week or by month, as well as time on-site breakdown. We also provide student progress data at a glance, such as number of solutions submitted, either for all courses together, or you can find out just an individual course, how many challenges have been submitted. We have a progress breakdown for any of the courses that students may have worked in. And then we give you also a snapshot of the most engaged or active classrooms on this subscription. At the bottom of your dashboard, you'll find subscription details, such as the name of the subscription, how many available seats you have, and when your subscription will expire. So when you first get your subscription activated, you will need, as an administrator, to provide your teachers with access to the platform so they can begin creating their classrooms and rostering students. To do that, you'll simply navigate to the Teachers tab. Move my little camera here. Once on the Teachers tab, you'll see the Invite Teachers button at the top right corner. You simply click on that, and it's as easy as entering in the teacher's email address and selecting Invite. If the teacher in question has been an active CodeMonkey teacher with your district previously, they will automatically be added to the list down here with an active status. If they're a new teacher to the district or a new teacher that will be using CodeMonkey, their status once added will be pending invitation. That means that they've been sent an email that contains a link for them to set up their credentials so that they can log in. You also, from this area or from this feature, have the option to add a co-administrator to your account. You simply just need to use the caret and change the role to admin. And again, just put in the email address of said individual and invite them. Once teachers are in active status on this page, they at that point have access to the resource and can begin creating their classrooms. You will next want to visit your Schools tab. This is really important if you would like to see usage reports broken out by campus if you have more than one. To add a school name, you simply add the name of the campus the way you want to see it listed on reports and select Add School. It will be added to your list, and as teachers select this school while creating their classrooms, it will begin to track the number of classrooms that have access to CodeMonkey at that campus, the number of students, as well as the number of teachers. The next tab on your admin dashboard tools is your Classrooms tab. This tab provides you a screenshot or a listing, if you want to call it that, of all classrooms that roll up to your subscription, regardless of site or primary teacher. This is a great place to see a complete view of everyone and the number of people that will have access to the subscription. From here, you also have the ability to archive a classroom. This would remove it from the classroom dashboard. You also have the feature of editing, so you can change classroom name, the school site, the primary or co-teacher, or update the grade band. We'll return to the Classrooms tab in a moment when we move into our reports. But before we do that, I do want to show the final setup piece for admins. Your teachers have the ability to manage their classroom assignments from their platform. However, if you prefer to manage classroom assignments at the admin level, you can do that from the Assignments tab, where all classrooms will be listed. As you can see, I have enabled the Assign All button, which of course results in every course being assigned to every classroom. This means that your students can access anything on the subscription. You also have the option of using the Unassign All button, and of course that will have the exact opposite effect. In this case, students don't have access to any courses at all. When they log in, all of the courses will be locked. What we find most often is that teachers and districts prefer to differentiate courses for each classroom based on grade band and student skill. And so to do that, you simply would click on each course you want to assign by classroom. So for example, you can see I am assigning the beta version of our computer science course to classroom A. I'm giving CodeMonkey Junior to classroom B, and so on and so forth. I would go through and just assign the individual courses I want that specific classroom to have access to. From this page, you also have the ability to set a progress limit. If you want students and teachers to stay at approximately the same pace as they work through the program, you can use the caret to the right of the assigned course, select Set Progress Limit, and simply enter in the number of the challenge that students can work through. In this example, they can work through challenge 10, and once they complete challenge 10, they'll be locked out of the course, and until you come back and increase this number so they can proceed. Or you can return them to free play by hitting that caret again and just returning students to free play where there is no limit. So this concludes the review of the admin dashboard and what you as an administrator need to do to get access to your teachers and students. The other thing you're going to likely want to do once usage has begun is to begin to monitor student usage and progress. To do that, you will want to visit the Classrooms tab. And to the right of the Upload Classrooms button, you have a kebab menu. Clicking on the kebab menu gives you a library of reports. They're downloadable in Excel spreadsheet format. You have options including a usage report, an activity report, a course progress report, and a proficiency report. Any one of these that you select, or most of them, will queue you for some additional information before they download. So what I'll do is jump back to our slide deck so we can take a look at how these reports will look and what you'll need to provide in order to receive the data. So your usage report, when you select that, will ask you for a timeline or a date range that you want to see data for. You'll simply enter that and then click on the Generate button. The usage report will provide you with several data points, including the number of classrooms, registered users, how many sessions have been generated, and how many challenges have been solved. We also give you a screenshot of monthly active users. pages that follow that initial page of the report will break your usage down by classroom, including the name of the class, how many students are rostered to that classroom, how many active students there were month over month, and the total number of exercises solved by students in that classroom. Your student activity report will do exactly that, give you data all about how your students are engaging with the CodeMonkey platform. When you select this report, you'll only be asked whether or not you want to include archived classrooms. So the tip here is that if you want to capture all usage and all activity for all students that have worked in the platform for your subscription, you will want to make sure you include those classrooms so that students that are archived and their activity shows up on this report. Once it's generated, you'll see that it does provide your data by classroom and then by student. And you'll get data points such as the total number of times a student has logged in, the date and time they first and last signed in, total number of minutes spent on the site, number of solutions submitted, and several other data points that will speak to the engagement of each student. Undoubtedly, you're also going to want to see how your students are benefiting from the CodeMonkey application, and that is where you will want to access the course progress report. When doing that, you'll be asked to identify what course you want to see progress for. You'll use the drop-down menu to select the appropriate course. The progress report will be grouped again by class and then by student. It will include all classrooms subscription-wide that have worked in that course. And the report will reflect how each student individually is progressing through that course on a challenge-by-challenge basis. When the report is downloaded, it will look like this. At the top of each column to the right is the number of the challenge. Specifically, of course, you have the classroom and the students listed to the left. And really, the data is going to align with the application, meaning students are able to achieve up to 3 stars when they complete a challenge. They get the first star for collecting all of the bananas in the challenge. They get the second star if they use the concept that was specific to that challenge. And they get the final star if they use the shortest, most concise code. So you can see that here we are numerically telling you how many stars they achieved for each challenge. And super helpful is your average score column. This information is found nowhere else in the application itself or on any other reports. So it's important to know that it's located here. And will provide you the average score for each student as they've worked through that course. And this makes it extremely easy to identify a student such as this, who may need to come back and rework a challenge for a better score in order to increase that average. It also makes it easy to identify students such as this that are consistently demonstrating understanding of the concepts and are really just whizzing through all of those challenges. A student such as this may need to be placed in a more challenging course. So this is a great way to visually see how your students are doing, what their average score is, and how quickly they are progressing through the course. Your proficiency report is a different kind of report. This is an aggregated report that takes into account all challenges a student has completed, regardless of the course. Here, we are not looking at progress based off of challenge by challenge or based off a specific course. Instead, we are looking at the actual concepts such as sequencing, objects, loops, and we're giving the student a proficiency or level of mastery of those concepts. Students start with a novice level, which is represented by a 1. Then they move to beginner, which is 2. Intermediate is 3, and advanced is 4. So because this is an aggregated report, the goal of this report is that students will begin populating the blank fields with a 1 as they work through the CodeMonkey platform. And that over time, those ones increase to twos, threes, and fours. So it will take time, potentially years, for students to populate all of these concepts to the 4 level. But this is a great report. We hear quite a bit that districts and schools are needing to expose students to computer science and coding concepts. If this is something that you are tasked to do, this report is going to help you identify exactly what concepts your students have been introduced to, as well as the level or extent to which they have mastered them. So that concludes today's webinar. Before we get to our Q&A, I want to provide a little bit of additional information on where you can go for additional questions or support later. Please do feel free to reach out to our support team at support@codemonkey.com. We also have a help center that you can access at help.codemonkey.com. And Maya will be putting in an administrator's guide to reports in the chat. Download that. It will be a review of what we looked at today so that you can go pull those reports and analyze the data at a later time. So with that, I'll go ahead and open things up for questions. Does anyone have a question?
I don't see any questions in the Q&A.
Okay,
Yes.
fabulous. Fabulous. So do take note of those support email and our help center. So if you do think of any questions later, you can definitely access those and get more information. As we conclude today, we do want to thank you for joining us. We hope that you're walking away with all the information you need as an administrator to get your subscription set up and monitor for usage and for progress. We also would like to end by inviting you to our next Flash webinar, which will cover teacher reports and progress monitoring tools. And that will be held on October 30th at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks again for joining. Have a fantastic day.